here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how to make these sweet little rolled roses. And the reason I came up with this project is because my daughter's Girl Scout troop is taking part in Thinking Day, and they have the country England. So for the make and take at our booth, we're going to show the girls how to make these little rolled roses. And they're simple enough that the kids can do it, and they're pretty enough that we could put them on our scrapbook pages and cards, and they're just lovely. So the first thing I have here is a simple tag. These come in a box of 1,000 at Paper Mart for about $8. And one side's glossy and one side is matte. And we're going to work on the matte side of the tag today. Here I have just a little makeup sponge. And I keep, I just get a bag of these at the dollar store, and I keep one for each color. And I'm just going to sponge a little of this green around the edges here. Can you see it's on the corner of your screen? I know, but I just didn't want to get ink all over everything. Alright, and then what I did was I took some clear stamps and I spelled out English roses on this clear block. These stamps are by Personal Stamp Exchange. They're a few years old, actually many. They're probably the first clear stamps I ever bought. So they're probably about 15 years old. But I really like them because they stick really well to the block, and they're also very closely trimmed so that you can get the letters close enough together. And I am just going to go ahead and stamp that again at the corner of your screen because I don't want it to get ink and everything. Right at the top of my tag. Now when you stamp, I know I mention this all the time, hold the stamp to the paper for a minute while you're working. Alright, so now we can work into the main area. Alright, so that's on there stamped. We're just going to set that aside. So what I have here is just some circles and scallop circles that I punched out of paper. You can hand cut these, it's no problem, but since I'm preparing for 105 girls, I punched them. But whatever, a scallop circle, plain circles, they all work. I'll even show you with both ways. So then you just want to go in with your scissors and cut this into a spiral. So really it doesn't take that long, even if you want to cut the whole thing by hand. Doesn't take long at all, but I just went through my scrap bins and I punched all those circles. So for one, it used up my scrap paper, and for two, it's going to just make it a little easier for the girls. Now I'm just going to start by rolling. Now if you're using pattern paper, you want to roll it so the pattern's on the inside, and that's what you'll see. You don't see what's on the outside as much as what's on the inside. So I'm just rolling this up here. Let me get closer to the camera so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better here. And we're rolling and we're rolling. Roll, roll, roll. What was that, young Frankenstein? Gonna have a roll in the hay. Gonna have a roll of the flour. There we go. Okay, now you can see it looks like a little flower. Now personally, you know me, I would use hot glue to secure this. But since I'll be, teaching this to children and I don't want them to all burn their hands off, I'm going to use a glue dot. This is a bright idea, actually. Came from another Girl Scout mom who was very alarmed by my hot glue usage. So we're going to just stick that glue dot there and just push it down really good to secure. Now, one of the benefits of the glue dot is that the glue is going to be sticky in there. So I could pop a little bead in there, make it look so fancy. Yeah, just stick that bead down there, use my scissors to kind of poke it in there, and voila, we've got one done. Now let's do another one. This time I'm going to show you just with a plain circle. Now the smaller the circle, the smaller your rose. So if you want to make like some party decor, or I don't know, maybe something, I'll put on a headband or something. You want to make something big, just start with a bigger circle and you'll end up with a bigger flower. So here again, just even with a plain circle, you do this exact same thing. You just roll it up here close to the camera, hopefully in focus. Little wonders never cease. And we're rolling and we're rolling and we're rolling. So you're never going to forget this, how to do this, because you're just going to be able to remember the crazy lady that kept saying rolling, rolling, rolling. There we go. We got a tiny little flower there. And it is a little bit smaller because the circle, see these punch circles are a little bit smaller than that. We take our glue dot. I don't know what brand these are. These are pretty great though. I got these at the dollar store a few years ago. And they're very sticky. I wish I bought more. Ack! I'm stuck to everything that I don't want them stuck to though. See, that's why I like the hot glue. I don't seem to get it stuck to my fingers as much as I do with the glue dots. I think I have asbestos hands. They don't seem to be bothered by the glue too much. I'm just going to pop another little bead in there. I'm just using these little plastic pearls. I keep my plastic beads together, and that way I could just bring them out when, when the kids are playing, and I don't have to worry if they waste them or anything. They're not expensive. I pick them up whenever I see them cheap somewhere. All right, now, so to finish up this card, I want to add a few leaves. And so I'm going back over to my pink scrap paper here. And I'm just going to stamp a few little leaves. These aren't rose leaves, really. Yeah, they're not from a rose bush. They're just some leaves. They're random. They're generic leaves. But to stamp some generic leaves on there, I put a couple of glue dots down. Now, of course, I'd be using a nice big old gob of hot glue, usually. Let's push that out of the way. There we go. Let me just push that to it so I don't get stuck in my fingers there. I'm so much more comfortable with a hot glue gun, I have to admit. Alright, so I got 2 glue dots on there. I'm going to put one flower on one side, trying not to cover up too much of my stamping, and one on the other. And then I'm just going to put a piece of yarn here on the end, and I have this, this is wild skeiny yarn. This is just fun fur, Lion Brand fun fur. I love to use this fancy yarn, or you could call it fibers if you want to be very fancy. So they call them fibers. Putting these fibers in there. Well, I like to use yarn. Let's just, keep it real, folks. I like to use yarn because it's a lot cheaper than ribbon, and they have this yarn that's so, fluffy and special effecty that it looks fancier than ribbon even. And it's cheaper, so it's fun. Sometimes you can find that at the dollar store. Alright, so there you go. There you have it. We have made some fancy tags. So if you're doing Thinking Day and you have England for a country, feel free to steal this idea. That's why I put it out there. Copy and steal everything, folks. I do not mind. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.